So, here with John Cowlin and John Gladwin from ZwolsPigeons, and we want to talk today about the new family they brought in. Tell us, guys.
Well, so as many people know, we brought obviously the French Zwols in back in 2010 originally, and then in 2015, November 2015, we brought all of Frenzies out. Since then, we've been kind of looking, really, after a couple of years anyway, for a cross into them and something that we thought that would obviously enhance them. As people know, the French Zwols are a very inbred family, and we've kind of got to the point where we've bred through them and, you know, kept the ones that work for us, and now they're very inbred. So we've been looking for something that we can sort of cross into them and hopefully enhance the family further. It's been 6-7 years we've been looking, been many trips to Belgium, Holland, even Germany, looking at different lofts and different pigeons and researching. And we kind of finally found one about a year or so ago that kind of piqued our interest, in that they are not a commercial loft, but they've been winning for many, many years at the highest level. But certainly in the last 3 or 4 years, their performances had really increased and gone to a whole new level. And in 2023, their pigeon, Gustave 14, actually become the sprint champion in the KDB. So the same award that Kittel and Best Kittel had won, and Kittel 2 previously. So the best sprint pigeon in Belgium, and also one of the second best pigeon in the world in 2023. So this led us to go and to do some visits and see these guys. So it's Jose and Gustave Goemaere, and totally uncommercial loft, typical back garden Belgium setup. Youngbird loft is a converted sort of outhouse. Old Bird loft is a traditional, very traditional, basic wooden structured loft, and not very big setup at all. But their results have been absolutely phenomenal, season after season. I mean, 2024, after selling Gustave 14 to Pippa and retiring a couple of their other best cocks, they still managed to win 44 firsts this year alone. So absolute phenomenal performances. In some races there, they had over 50% of their pigeons home before anybody else in their organisation. So I think in one race in particular, they took the first 31 positions.
Wow.
Against 800 pigeons, near enough. So, you know, phenomenal flying. Other races there, they're taking like first, second, fourth, and a couple of other positions, sending like 6-7 pigeons. So not a massive setup at all.
How many birds do you think they race?
So they start the season with around 65 to 70 old birds, and similar the team of young birds. They're predominantly a sprint guys, so their real love is sprinting, but they're also probably more like some English fanciers rather than Belgians, in that they actually like to have a go right through the card. So they push some of their more sprint-based pigeons a bit further to the middle distance and do very well. In 23, they had second national in the middle distance against, I think it was about 17,000 pigeons as well. And again this year, some really good results in what they call the middle distance races over there, the semi-fond. In fact, they won the Herbert's league points system that they have in the middle distance. And also in sprint, so they won the sprint and the middle distance this year again in both. But they also even push right out to the likes of Barcelona. So one of their famous pigeons is a pigeon called Luke that actually won the Belgian Masters from Barcelona, so 4 years on the trots.
Wow.
He scored from Barcelona and was voted over the 4-year period the best pigeon in all of Belgium out of Barcelona in the over a 4-year period. So
With Gustave 14 himself, tell people what his record is again, so people can kind of get the.
So as a yearling, he was the 6th best sprint pigeon in all of Belgium, and then as a 2-year-old, he was the ace pigeon, the best pigeon sprinting in Belgium in 2023. He actually won 14 firsts on 14 different dates, and in his career, and I think it was around 21 times the pigeon was entered into races as a yearling and a 2-year-old, and won 14 of them. So some flying.
Wow.
He's got the best coefficient over 2 seasons sprinting in all of the history of Belgium. So,
wow.
In the past 100+ years, there's no pigeon that has had such a good coefficient in 2 seasons. So, absolutely phenomenal pigeon.
But it's not just him. I mean, he is the key pigeon, but they are winning with many of their other pigeons.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, actually, the nestmate to Gustave 14 is a pigeon called Matteo. It's won, I think, 8 firsts himself, but was often second to Gustave 14 as well in races. He literally beaten by a second or two on the traps and stuff like that. So they often drop together. But also many other pigeons. When you look through the breeding history of them pigeons, you've got pigeons that have won 7, 8 firsts. Their fathers have won 10 firsts. Their grandfathers have won 14 firsts. All bred down generation after generation of top pigeons. And they have a very small stock setup. So compared to most well-known Belgium lofts anyway. So it's literally 1 in, 1 out all the time. So a pigeon can win 7, 8 firsts, and when he retires, doesn't make the stock loft there because he's not deemed to have done enough to make the breeding pen.
What lines in there? I know in Belgium it's very different because they all swap pigeons and what have you, but are there any lines that come out?
So probably none that the most of the English fanciers would know. They're very much a family that they've built themselves.
So a lot like the Zwols in a way.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And they do introduce pigeons because Belgians do on a regular basis, but more often than not, they're not from the big names or the commercial lofts that we would know in the UK. They're like from good fanciers in Belgium. Sometimes we join breeding. Sometimes they swap a couple of pigeons, and then they add a bit of new blood in. But
so you've done your research, and you've got these pigeons, and you have basically bought them in to bring in some speed and more new blood into the Zwols. So everything you're planning with these, the Zwols are not competing against them; they're getting merged into them. Yeah, you're crossing in.
Yeah, pretty much there's going to be a lot of crosses going on. Of course, we will probably keep some pure and to test as well. They've got to prove themselves. So we won't put all our eggs in one basket, because until they prove that they're good enough as well. We don't want to cross everything, and if they don't make the grade, then you've gone backwards for a year or two. So there'll be a mixture in there. We're very confident they will. They're very similar to the Zwols in size and shape, and not in colour.
No.
There's a lot of reds and a lot of
Gustave is a blue himself.
Gustave is a blue himself, so there is blues in there, but also his father's a mealy, so it's there's lots of good colours in there as well. The main thing really is to add in, as you said, a bit of speed into the Zwols as well, and get that cross, and with 2 quite close inbred families that probably both could benefit from the cross.
So what have you actually got?
So we have 4 direct children of Gustave 14 himself, and then we have approximately 30 directs from their stock pigeons. So all their main pigeons, we've brought direct children off them, including we have 3 children of their second national pigeons. We have pigeons of Matteo, as I said, nestmate to Gustave 14. We have two exactly the same way bred as their champion young bird this year. That's I think it's won maybe 5 firsts as a young bird this year and scored every single race that she was entered in this year. So we have the next round out the same way bred as that. So yeah, of all their major pigeons, we have one off even the great grandfather of Gustave 14 and Matteo. So that's also bred, well over 100 winners that pigeons are responsible for in different pigeons. So it's so. Every pigeon we've got is related in one way or another to Gustave. So at least on one side of the pedigree.
Yeah.
So.
And you were telling me earlier that you were looking at one of the pedigrees and you saw a well-known ring number.
Yeah. Well, a real name, yeah. So on one of the directs we've got from Gustave 14, because Pippa obviously bought him for a huge amount of money, and so we've actually had to buy the 4 direct children from Pippa, and on one of the dam sides is Pigeon through Leiderman, so the good grizzle. But that was in the line of the pedigree is Tip Top Hen, which is actually a sister to Tip Top Junior, one of the main pigeons in the Francois. So, because
pretty amazing.
Leiderman and Francois were massive friends, swapped a lot of pigeons. So Leiderman have the Tip Top line in some of their top pigeons as well. So, and in the Good Grizz, he'd crossed in the Tip Top line with the Good Grizz, so, which is now in this one that we've bought.
So we see what the future holds. So you've got a good cross section of everything that he's got, not just the Gustave pigeons, but like you say, they're all, like you said, John, they're all related really.
Yeah.
Because they're such a close family. Yeah. And it's a small loft, so there can't be that many decent stock pigeons in there anyway.
Yeah.
And you've got children out of pretty much everything. So the plan is to, you're gonna put them with some of your best wows, and you're gonna test them.
Exactly. Yep, that's the plan.
And the other thing, if anybody that's watching this in the next 12 hours or so, we're shooting this at Epsom the night before the show, and the auction is on tomorrow. It starts about 1:45, and you've managed to be able to persuade Mr. Goemaere to get 3 pigeons into the auction.
4 pigeons.
4
pigeons. Yeah, we got four directs sent over by them. So the first time they've ever auctioned a pigeon, and anywhere, and first time that they will definitely be offered in the UK. So, to my understanding, that there's only been 2 of their bloodlines ever auctioned, and that was by Pippa, direct out of Gustave 14 a few weeks ago. Which were the first 2 children out of Gustave 14. So yeah, absolute first chance for people to be able to buy these pigeons in the UK, and nobody else other than ourselves bought pigeons from them.
There's no other pigeons in the UK outside
them.
of what you've got from them, or these 4 coming up tomorrow.
No, exactly. So yeah.
So although you might not want me to say this, if anybody does want to place commission bids on them, contact John as soon as possible.
Yes.
But yeah, to me,
and they've even put a pigeon up, a yearling cock, that's actually damaged itself halfway through, or actually quite early in the old bird season this year. Come back with a hawk attack and a wing that every time they then trained it afterwards drooped a little bit. So they stopped it, but it's already won 2 first prizes for them racing. I think off the top of my head 7 other positions, and only raced 3 or 4 races this year. So as a young bird, and in them first 3 or 4 races, and they said it was actually one of their favourite yearlings before he got injured. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they expected really big things of this pigeon. So
I think it's exciting times to be able to bring this well-researched, small. I mean, that's the thing for me. It's a small setup. It's not a big commercial setup. They say they've never sold a pigeon at auction, so that shows you how what kind of setup it is, and to bring them into the Zwols, which everybody knows about them. They know how good they are, but this is some exciting times to see what happens going forward.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
That's it. Thanks guys. Thank you for watching, everybody that's watched this. There'll be more information coming out about these Goemaere pigeons that the two Johns have got at ZwolsPigeons.com. But we'll be putting out more information. We're waiting on getting photographs and all that. All of that stuff will be coming out in the coming weeks after this. So thank you guys, and thank you for watching, everybody.
Thank you.